term queen of the day is basically a rat or a snitch.
Yeah, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, well,
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, you're not a gangster, so
that's true.
Yeah.
Good observation.
Yeah, so if you're in the street, we all know what it. There's no excuse for it. You made it an appointment to meet the government. You're queen of the day. You're a rat, snitch, whatever, informant.
Right.
So guys like, and that's the thing. He's trying to sell something to guys like you that don't know what all this is.
Okay.
So gangsters know what it is, and street guys or criminals, and so there is no change in that. The problem is with most kids, younger kids, when they get involved in the street, they don't understand informants. They don't understand when they're staying with 10 kids. They'll think that somebody's never, he's a stand-up guy or by the street mentality, stand-up guy, and he's not going to talk to the police. But then there's 3/4 of the guys are going into the police and they're giving information and people don't know it. And as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like one of the number one rule when it comes to any kind of street business or anything. The number one rule is you never snitch, you never flip, right? Because that's your dignity. That's everything, right? That's what you're judged on. That's the number one thing you're judged on. Well, so no one, if you want to make it in organized crime, or if you want to be in the mob, if you flip, you're dead. You're a dead man, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, in simple ways, the way you're saying it, the belief on the street is that. But
that's just my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the problem is it's most kids' perspective. And,
okay.
And they don't understand the street. So when they're on the street and you're partners with a guy and he's stealing half the money or he's not giving you the fair share, so there's where it starts, right? He starts taking a little extra and he doesn't tell you and you're partners with him. So that's one problem.
Okay.
What goes on the street, greed. Second problem is guys start stealing each other's girlfriends and women when they're not around. So that's the second part. There's the second part of no loyalty. Third part is when something dangerous goes on and it's going to be you going to get shot or he's going to get shot, you're going to run and let him get shot. Fourth part is guys are going to, as soon as they run into a little problem or their girlfriend or boyfriend or mother or father may be involved with them, they're going to sell you out to protect them. So there is no real code of honor like everybody thinks. It's garbage. And, the telltale for everything, read, I don't care what religion you are, read the Quran, read the Bible, read whatever. If you're Buddhist, money is evil, right? And this is what the problem is. Money is controlling the streets. And as long as money controls the streets, the loyalty isn't to your friend or to your partner or to an organization. It's to the dollar bill. And instead of following a path where you can make a dollar bill the right way, everybody's trying to take a shortcut, and at the same time, they're selling each other out left and right. And it's not something I'm talking about and somebody says, oh, he's full of shit. Just go look at history. Go follow religion and watch all the murders that go on through history.
Yeah.
Follow the wars, follow the Roman Empire, and see what everything's about. Watch a movie like The Braveheart and see what it's about, being taxed and taking money from the poor. And then it's also about watch somebody that has no money, the inner city kids, and when they get jammed up or locked up, watch how many years they get compared to some rich kid that's got the money, like Gotti did, to deceive and lie and inform and weasel his way out and pay his way. So, it's not structured fairly, and the world's not fair. So if you want to level the ground in a fair way, go to work the right way, and you don't have to worry about all those things I just spoke about.
Right.
And take the right path, because it's easy to take the wrong path. I mean, listen, I took the wrong path my whole life. I've been, stabbed up, I've been shot, I've been battered. I spent 18 years in prisons. I spent probably a good last 10 years of my life in prisons were without a yard. I didn't see a yard. I was locked up 23 hours a day at 24. I showered 3-4 days a week at best. And I spent probably 7 years in solitary confinements. So when people say, fuck you, or they don't want to hear what you got to say, listen, I can't make everybody listen, but I hope the people that are suffering a little bit, or people that have jammed up with cases, or people are thinking about going that way, take a second stance and say, I don't want to end up in these prisons. I don't want to end up shot in the head, because I can maneuver guys all over. That's what I did for a living. I get friendly with you, and after I get friendly with you, you think you're involved with us, and I shoot you in the head. It's done just as easy as that. And if I know you had $300,000 in your house, well, there's your life was worth to me, $300,000. Your life's finished. So if you think there's a code between guys, and there's guys a lot more vicious than I am. So that's the reality of the street.
Holy shit.
It's not all my stories. You can go listen to podcast after podcast, different mob, true life stories of different mobsters that are talking. When they go to jail and, you know, their partners are rich and they're sitting in jail doing a time for another guy, that other guy that's out there making money, he's not helping his family like he promised. He's not doing anything. He's not visiting him in prison. He's not stepping up and doing anything to help that guy get through the time. And you're going to hear these stories. They're going to have guys sleeping with guys' wives and girlfriends. These are regular stories. These aren't, you know, this is not something that we don't know, that we don't, you know, think, wow, that's a big surprise that happened to the guy. I mean, every time I hear another guy telling a story, I want to say, well, this is exactly what we already know about, you know. So I'm a guy that's been in prisons, and I've been international. I have friends in every country. You name a country, and I'll tell you I could get you in touch with somebody in that country. So, you know, I'm not just some neighborhood gangster. You know, I was a guy that traveled. I just came back from traveling 4 countries. I probably, since I've been home, went to about 25, 30 countries. So I know the world. I know people everywhere, every country.
So how did you transition from New York and Florida to going overseas? What were you doing overseas?
Well, you know, since I'm a kid, you know, I had friends in different positions, different mob families outside of the Gambino and the Italian mafia. So I had organizations that were friends with me from the Colombia, which I was doing business in the cocaine business. Okay. I have a friend of mine, Klaus, that did business with me since the early 90s with marijuana from California, from Denmark. So we're still good friends. I got friends that were the bosses in families ran things in the UK, like the Sabinis, that I'm still friends with. So I can go through my Albanian culture. I'm Albanian. We're a very, you know, rough, hands-on kind of culture, very violent. Oh, yeah. We come from, you know, a suppressed country from the Ottoman days till Turkey taking us over to communism. So, you know, I have friends in Albania and guys that were in business with me for years that are back in that country. Italy, so I can go on with country to country, Germany, Switzerland. So, you know, these are all partners and friends of mine over the years that were in all these countries. So I traveled those countries. I had hooks in those countries. Canada, I have hooks in those countries. And we did business, whether it was through money, whether it was drugs, whether it was through sports, whether it was helping each other. If a friend of mine had a problem in the UK, which he did, and somebody came to the United States, he asked me to go hurt him from I did. So we reached a lot further than, you know, a typical, you know, a lot of these mob guys never leave the neighborhood of Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Manhattan, wherever. And I had the ability, because of some of the contacts I have around the world, to have the ability to do what I want. And I also did it in a good way. I have the ability to go visit those countries and hang out, drink, and have some fun.